What's up, everyone? I cannot believe it. It's Tuesday afternoon, and we have gone live. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done a late afternoon stream. In fact, it was probably 2 months ago. God, I think I jumped on the stream a little bit too early, but it's fine. It's fine. Hey, thanks everyone for coming here. Today, I'm going to take Node.js MSAL for a test run. And I want to build an API. I have been trying, or I've been looking to build a Node.js API with MSAL for a while, for some time, but we didn't have MSAL for Node. And then at some point I found out that MSAL for Node was coming. So I was like, yay, that's exciting. And I was waiting for it to go to GA before we could talk about it. So last week, Node.js went live and it's GA now. So let's go and have a look at the repo because it's new and I like it. I always like to play with new things, and new shiny stuff always excite me. So I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's play with it. So the first thing we want to do is actually let's go and find MSAL node. Let's go and find the repo. So now it has its own dedicated repo, and it has all the information you need to get started. One thing that was disappointing about MSAL was that for APIs, it doesn't do token verification. Now, that sucks a little bit. So you need to use a separate library for that, but we'll see how we need to do it. And the whole point there is that with MSAL, we can go and acquire tokens, and we'll use a different library to verify the incoming tokens in our API. But it's not going to stop there. There's one more thing I want to do. So our APIs, or usually APIs, don't just do one thing. They tend to do other stuff, like call into some other resources and get some data out. So on top of using MSAL for acquiring tokens for Graph, which is a first-party API, I'm also going to use Cosmos DB today. Because, and this is exciting, Cosmos just added support for Azure AD authentication. Exactly. Because up until this point, you could not use managed identities. That's the key. You couldn't use managed identities to call into Cosmos DB. Yeah, I know. That sucked, right? Which means that if you want to access Cosmos DB securely, then in order for you to do that, you need to either pass the Cosmos key or use managed identities, because now with managed identities, I don't have to know what the key to my Cosmos DB is. So no secrets whatsoever. Oh, John Galloway is following me here. We just wrapped up a fantastic stream on the 6-figure dev on his stream, which was amazing. We talked about identity at a very high level. So John, thanks for joining us, man. We're gonna do the Node.js stuff today and see how it goes. I see that you didn't have enough of me for the past hour and a half, so you want more. And I appreciate that. I appreciate all the friends that are joining us today. I think there's gonna be an exciting stream. So what we see here on my screen is the GitHub repo for the Node MSAL, which GA'd last week. And that means that it has samples, it has how to get started, it has installation information. We are 1.x, so we're not 0 point something, it's not preview anymore. If it has the 1, I think it denotes that it is GA, is it? Is that the way it works? And then it talks a little bit about MSAL basics. So if you've never done MSAL before, then the difference between public and confidential clients. Public, it's any, use a public client when you cannot trust that you can store secrets. So in a single page application that everything runs on the browser, we can't really put secrets there because users can just view the source and then we'll be able to access everything. Same for mobile apps, because in a mobile app, technically you can connect your phone via USB or what does iPhone use these days? Is it Firewire? What did they use? I can't even remember the name. So anyway, you can use that to connect to a PC, and then from there you can get the reverse engineering of the software. So if you disclose keys or secrets inside your mobile app, then somebody can reverse engineer your code, IL-Spy or other tools for Java, and actually find those secrets. So we don't want that. So public clients cannot be trusted with secrets, SPAs, mobile apps, and whatever. Confidential clients are the ones that actually can be run securely, like a server-side web app or API that lives on the server. So for someone to access your API or your web app running on the server, they need to take control of that server. They need to get a way into your server, and that's not easy. So we can trust those clients. And in the samples, we can see that we support quite a few scenarios. In fact, those scenarios have evolved since the last time I looked into this thing. And at a very high level, we see that we do support the latest and greatest, which is auth code with Pixie, right? This is what we want. We want to support authorization flow with Pixie, because authorization flow with Pixie allows us to be super secure. It's the latest in the flows of OAuth. And then we have device code. So if you're running, say, a command line or a console app, then device code flow is the one that you can use. It prompts you with a code that you put on a separate device, and then you sign in on that separate device or separate browser, and then it allows you to go back and sign in. Device code is what you get on your TVs. So remember when you go into Netflix and says, oh, to sign in, just go to netflix.signin and then use this 6-digit code. That in effect is device code flow. Then you have silent flows for acquiring tokens. It supports client credentials. We talked about secrets. So anything that it is supported as a confidential client can get a client secret. So think of that as a command line or a service that runs securely, and it needs to authenticate to get some tokens, right? So for that, we need to provide a username and a password that will be able to authenticate against our identity provider and grab the tokens and go and query whatever data they need to query. Username and password. I mean, that is weird. Like I can't believe that in 2021 we support username and passwords, but yes, we do. And then Electron. Now, Electron is used to develop desktop applications. It's a desktop app framework, UI. VS Code is written in that. Storage Explorer is written in that. Azure Storage Explorer. I think Slack is written on top of that. So there are a lot of tools, cross-platform UI-based tools that are written with Electron. And now if you need to sign in users, you can use Node.js MSAL to do that. And then we have B2C support as well. So if you're not creating organizational apps for your at Contoso or at Walmart employees, then we also support B2C. And then down here, there's also an extension for code flow and acquiring tokens with the MSAL extension and writing tokens in the CAS. But the samples are probably the ones that work the best. Now, check this out. I don't know if they fixed it, but the last time I did this, it was a 404. Oh, they fixed it. I sent them a pull request and said, hey guys, your samples are all pointing to the wrong repo or a repo that doesn't exist anymore because they got everything ready for GA and they were pointing to the wrong place. So for today, I think one of the things that I want to look at was API, I think. Where's my API? Samples. And under samples, there was one for... Where's the API one? I remember they had one for API. Auth code with Pixie. Yeah, because I'm not doing front end. Like I wanted to do back end stuff. So where did they do with that? Samples. Did they pull it out? MSAL Node samples, React samples, Angular. Doesn't matter. I mean, I have a backup, but I wanted to have a starting point for You know what? It's on behalf of. It's an API. Yes, there you go. I remember now. I remember now. Okay, we're cooking now. So technically this one has a front end that signs in users, and then it goes and acquires the token for the API, which is in the backend. And then the API performs an on behalf of. So the API will get the access token from the front end and will say, oh, you know what? I want to go and get a user, a token for this user on his behalf, so I can call some other downstream API. So the API becomes the proxy between the front end and the back end. The front end acquires an access token for the API, and then the API will use that access token to go and get another access token to go and get the on behalf of the user information. So let's see what the code looks here. It uses Express, it uses MSAL node. That's our config for MSAL, which we need to use to be able to configure and point to a specific Azure AD tenant and a client ID. Then you notice here we're using a confidential client because this is running on the server, so we can trust it. And you'll notice that the client secret has been removed. So since this code is public, we don't want to disclose client IDs and secrets for the authority because that would give us access to sign in if we are part of that org or hack the app. And then we have the access token. So here, the app itself doesn't really do authentication for the front end. It just says, hey, somebody, I suspect that this just goes and grabs the token for these scopes over here. And then it passes that into so here it uses that information to go and grab the token, and then response redirects to the redirect point. And the redirect grabs the information and gets the token by code. Oh, this one gets the auth code. I see what they're doing. Okay, so they're using that to get the auth code, and then they use the auth code to go and acquire the token by code. And then they call the API. And that API is running in the backend. But I'm not going to focus so much on the front end. I want to focus on the API because I want to build an API that does two things. One is it calls graph on behalf of the signing user, and we'll use Postman as the client. And then we are going to also connect to our Cosmos DB database to get some volcano data. Who likes to play with volcanoes? We're going to get some volcano data to pull them out in the API. I mean, it could be anything. We could use the default data that Cosmos comes by default, but I think it will make more sense for us to do that. So let's go and have a look at the API, what it does, because we're going to copy some of these components, but we'll add some additional things for our code. And I think this is all written with JS, and I want to use TypeScript as well, because why not, right? Why not use TypeScript? So we are here on the web app. Let's jump on the on behalf of, and let's go to the API. So let's see what happens inside our API. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So we need to pull a couple of packages. So we have JSON Web Token and JWKS RSA. So that's for authentication. Then HTTPS MSAL. The MSAL is only used for acquiring the tokens from for graph. So we'll call graph on our behalf and return some data. So here, this function will probably copy verbatim because this is the one that validates the JW token. So the token comes in, and we need to make sure that it has the right client ID, the right issuer, and the right authority. And we also need to verify the token here with signing keys. I think the signing keys are further down. There you go. The signing keys are in a public endpoint that Microsoft discloses. So if you see this one here, and we can actually navigate to that. Yes, you can navigate to this. So check this out. Dun, dun, dun. this is how we can, these are the public keys that we can use to verify that the token was issued by Microsoft and signed by Microsoft. So we can use the public key to verify that. Ain't that cool? So we're getting the sign, the JW key as URI, and then we're passing that down, and then we're verifying that the key is correct. And that's all we need to do. Then further down, we're instantiating our MSAL library with the config settings, which we pass down here. That's our confidential client again. Remember, it's an API, so it's running securely. And then we instantiate Express, which it's okay. And then we have an endpoint called on behalf of. We call the validate JWT as part of the call. So when the HTTP request comes in, we first need to validate that this is a valid token. That includes the issuer, the expiration, and the signing of that token before we do anything else. However, this one does not check for scopes. So it doesn't do everything we want it to do. If you need to check for scopes, then you need to do a little bit of jiggery pokery with the code to ensure that it has the right information. Oh, what? That's interesting. Okay. So that's where we are right now. And I think we're at the point that we can actually start working with certain things here. Okay, so with that information, I think we can go and create our first project. So how would we do that? Let's leave this on the side. Did I close my Azure AD portal? I think I may have closed it. I may have closed that, but it's fine. We will survive. Okay, so let's open the terminal here. And let's do Node API with MSAL and Identities. Manage Identities? That would be a mouthful, right? That's a lot of stuff there. So Node API with MSAL. Should we say secure Node? Secure Node API with MSAL. Yeah, it is going to be secure, right? It's not, obviously it's not recognized. You just can't type names, Chris. Random names. Make there. Okay, so let's change directory into that. And let's see, let's that. And then do, is it npm init? I think it's npm init, isn't it? And then there's also a u something we can pass, or y to do everything for you. But I'm not an awesome Node developer, so baby steps over here while we try to do this. Dun, 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 dun. So description, my secure Node API, Node.js API with MSAL and Azure. Yeah, why not? I like the fact that I picked up that I have this. How did I know that? MSAL, security, authentication. Is it? No, it's authorization, right? Yeah, authorization. And I think that's it. Author. Zero cool. Can I type that? Am I even allowed to type that? I don't know. Okay. What the hell? Where's that coming from? Am I? Okay, you know what? I think I have a duplicate directory here. Okay, let's come out of this one. No, it's not okay. I've already done some other stuff. Okay, so that will be this. Make dear Node API. I was like, how did it know all this information before I even gave it? Okay, so npm init I think it's a Y, isn't it? Default? Yes. There you go. I'm a Node API, Node.js expert. There you go. Done. Okay, let's open this in code and see what here. There will be nothing. I think there's nothing of nothing or nothing. So, oh, there's a package.json. I mean, that's not nothing. There's something. Okay, so I did say that I want to use TypeScript. So that's fully supported by Visual Studio Code, which is great. You just need to, so for that to work, we need to add a tsconfig, if I remember correctly. So let's see what we need to do. Remember, I don't do lots of Node.js development, so we're learning as we go. So VS Code TypeScript. TypeScript programming with Visual Studio Code. We already have that one, syntax highlighting, IntelliSense. So for things to work, I think JS doc support, hover information, signature help, auto imports, yeah, formatting, code navigation, rename, refactoring. I mean, these are all the things that support. So installing the TypeScript compiler, we already have that one. So I think we just need a tsconfig. Each thing configure, IntelliSense, property, code suggestions, references, implementation of code lens, add support for TypeScript in VS Code. It takes me to the same one. Oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe the tutorial. Aha, okay. This is better. Okay, we already have TypeScript installed. Or I think I have. Do you have? You can install the, let's see. I think I have TypeScript. Doesn't let me copy that. Okay, so TSC version. Okay, we have TypeScript. It's installed, which is good. Now, what do we need here? IntelliSense. We need a tsconfig. That's what we need. I remember correctly. I mean, it has been that long since I've done it. So here we need to add this. So we need to create a tsconfig.json file. tsconfig.json. Okay, and then we're going to paste that in there. Okay, compiler options, project settings, and compiler options. So ES5, I think you get IntelliSense here as well, if you've never done this before. Will it say anything to me? Oh, there you go, ES5. Okay, and then modules common.js, and then I think we need to, oh, you know what? We need to exclude, I think we need to exclude stuff because we don't want to have exclude. And then here, I think I need to put the directory, which should be node modules. We don't have them yet, but we'll get them very soon when we do npm install. So node modules. So this is what we need to get started with TypeScript. And that means that now we can go and add our first file, which will be a nice copy of this. So we can go into, make it smaller, and then we can do row, and then we can copy this whole thing, and then start commenting out before we get started. So index.ts, index.ts. Okie dokie, let's paste that. Let's paste all that, because why not? Let's save, and let's close tsconfig for now. Let's do that. And let's see what we have here. Okay, we have Express, we have Express MSAL, we have JSON Web Token, and these. So for that to work, let's go back here. And now I want to go and grab my project.json. Sorry, package.json. I'm confusing my my .NET with my node. So we want MSAL, which is GA, as we said. We want Express, which we're using, JSON Web Token for looking at the token, and then JWKS.RSA for validating or verifying the signature. Then UUID, I don't know if we're gonna need this one for now, but let's say fine, we'll go with that. Okay, so package.json, and I know I'm being lazy, so let's add dependencies. Dependencies, and then here I'm gonna say, let's grab that. And now we want to add the dependency that we copied, so let's save. And let's come back here to this and say npm install. You're gonna get everything. Half the internet is downloading on your, oh, what? Why? What did I do wrong? Operations not permitted. Rename node modules express package JSON. What? Oh, you know what? Why? Am I in the wrong directory? Tell us. Oh, you know what? Is it because I have this open? Sometimes it freaks out about that. Let's try again. Yes. Okay. So lesson learned. Do not have your package.json open while you try to download packages. Okay. So let's see. What do we have here? We have the app. So the token will come in. It will, oh, you know what? It's TS, so that's not the syntax. What does it say? You need to convert required to import. Okay. Let's do the same for everything else. Huh. We did it for all of them. What does it say here? Cannot find declaration file for module JSON web token. Okay, that is a little bit weird. Why does not like it? Let's find the cause. Do I need to install it? Is it not in here? It is in here. So why do you not like me? Why do you not like me? Maybe it didn't install it. Let's do it again. Or maybe it's missing the typings. If it exists. Okay, so let's run this. Oh, okay. It was missing that. And now it's fixed. So as you see, we're slowly fixing the issues before we go into some more exciting things. So this is the validate JWT, which we'll need for validating stuff. I see. What does it say here? Oh, it says it doesn't like the fact that it's an any. What does it say? Infer parameter types from usage. No, just leave it as is. I'm happy with that for now. So here, that doesn't need to change because we have the same. We're using the common endpoint, so it's not specific to my tenant. It is available to everyone that wants to authenticate with Azure AD. But here, it doesn't like this. Property public key does not exist on the signing key. What does exist? Get public key. Okay, that's interesting. So I'm gonna go with that. And I think this is a method as well. Oh no, is it? It is a method. So it should be get public key, isn't it? Like this. Okay, so we're moving on. We're fixing things as we go, and then we'll try to run it and see what happens. Let's see. Okay. Close that one. I wanted to close this one, in fact, and then I closed the wrong thing. So here we have that. So we're getting the signing keys, which is good. then obviously we need to add the settings down here. Let's go and do that now. Let's go and create, or you know what? Let's wait a little bit. Let's see what else we have to do. So confidential client, that works as well. On behalf of, I'll leave that for now there. I think that's a string, isn't it? We're moving on. So there you have that. And then HTTP requests. What does it not like? The type of URL is not assignable to parameter of type string or URL. That's TypeScript for you. It doesn't give me a recommendation on how to fix it though. That's the annoying bit, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll work through that. In fact, for now, let's. So this one is expecting a string, options, URL callback, or request options, or a URL, and then client request overload. Okay. So what does it need? Request options string or HTTP request options. So maybe just a string. And do we have options? I think we do have options, but it doesn't need that. So there. Problem solved. So we're doing good. We are churning along. So right now we only have one API. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna go ahead and fix these things. But for now, I want to make sure that when the call comes in, I can get to this point. I can call the on behalf of with a front end, and that has the right token. So I can go and validate the token, make sure that it works. And then if it all works and everything is super duper, then we are good for that. So the next step would be to go into Azure AD and configure the app registration. So let's go and do that. Somewhere I had my Azure AD portal, CMask. So I'm going to use my test tenant. And I've talked about test tenants before because they are awesome. If you are working with Azure AD and you don't want to use your corporate Azure AD because you shouldn't be using it, or even if you try to use it, it will be fairly locked down. I've been through that, and MSIT has really locked down the Azure tenant, the Azure AD tenant for Microsoft employees for very good reason. It's 270,000 people who don't want to just randomly provide access to everyone to anything. So for things that require admin consent, which I'm not an admin of, it becomes very tricky to go and acquire that consent. I have to submit a form, I have to submit a whole process. So rather than doing that, it's easier for me to go and do all these amazing things like test quickly and move quickly using a test tenant, which is free for everyone. You can get one at Microsoft 365 developer. So M365 developer account. Maybe I should put Microsoft 365 developer. So developer program. If you navigate here, and let me put this in the chat, it means that you can go and sign up today for a forever free account with Microsoft Identity. So you get an Azure AD tenant with some sample data, users, emails, calendar events, and that allows you to play around or do demos like this one today. So if you haven't used it, just go and sign up today. I think I have multiple, depending on the emails that you register. And as long as you use it once every 90 days, it will automatically renew. It will allow you to always come back and have an Azure AD tenant to play with. So for me, that I do quite a few things with Microsoft Identity, it's always easier to use a developer tenant. So let's go and sign into my developer tenant, which is this one, cmatchcast.onmicrosoft.com, because I am vain and I love it. So why not? So here I am going to go into my Azure Active Directory, and we are going to create an app registration. In fact, I already have I don't have one. Oh, wait a minute, I can't use this one because if I use this tenant, then I won't have any Azure data to play with. Ah, God, I forgot about that. So change of plans. Let's go. Portal.azure.com, portal.azure.com, because we'll be playing with Azure today as well. Portal.azure.com, there. And then I'm going to sign in with a different account. This time I'm going to use my MSDN account to sign in. That gives me an Azure AD tenant, so I have an Azure subscription that has an Azure AD tenant for free, again, as part of my MSDN access. And then I also have data to play with, so I can actually spin up Azure resources and play around with them. So see recommendations. I don't want to see any recommendations. I don't need you, so I'm going straight into Azure Active Directory. My subscription's renewed apparently because I had $80 the last time. Okay, so here, app registrations. Let me make it bigger so you guys can see. It's loading, it's thinking about it, I'm telling you. I think I have a Node 1 already. You know what? I have one aptly named here. And let me see. Doesn't have any authentication. It doesn't have any permissions. But it does expose an API. That's very important. I like it. Okay. What say you? Do you want me to create a new one or should we use an existing one? Let me know in the comments. Five seconds. That's your deadline. No opinions? Okay, in that case, I'm going to create a new one. Always nice to start fresh. New. MSAL node stream demo. And we're only going to allow organizational users, so that's awesome. So in here, I'm gonna come and say register. And we need a redirect URI. We don't need a redirect URI, it's an API. What are you saying, Chris? What are you saying? So now I have my application ID, which I need. Let's go back to our code. Check this out, client ID here. So we paste that there. Remember, client ID, directory, we need that. We need to say which directory we're going to use to authenticate. And the next one is going to be fine. I'm going to use that for today, and then I'm going to wipe out the client secret and roll it. So it doesn't make any difference. Please don't hack me for the hour and a half that we're doing these things. Okay, so we're in client secrets. So if you go into certificates and secrets and click on the create new certificate, oh, check this out. This one, my developer tenant actually picked up the things that we're rolling out, which is a new UI experience for creating secrets. Up until this point, the default was, and the minimum one was 1 year, which is not particularly good. We want people to either roll their keys or use certificates instead of secrets. But for now, we're gonna use the secrets and we're gonna go with the recommended, which is 6 months. We don't need to add the description. It's fine for now. So I will create one automatically for us. I am being lazy. So I'm copying the secret and we need to add it to the code. Technically, that's all we have to do to allow the code to work. However, we also need a front-end app that will allow us to sign in, right? We need a front-end app that will pass the tokens into our API. I did say we're gonna use Postman because I don't want to create a front-end for my backend as well. We're focusing on the API. Therefore, I am going to create another app registration. And this time I'm going to create an app registration. You know what, before we do that, we need to expose an API. For now, let's start with this. So exposing an API means that this app is an API and that access token that we'll get should include the right scope for this thing to work. So the front end needs to call the API, but not only does it need to have a token, it also needs to have a token with the right scopes. The scopes are the ones that more or less tell us what the user can do in the application. We can have multiple scopes. We can have a read-only scope, we can have a read and write scope, we can have an admin scope. So depending on who you are, when you acquire the access token, you can use that token to go and do different things in the app. And the API in the back end will need to take that token, look into the scopes, and accordingly do the appropriate thing. Like, will it allow you to write if you don't have the right scope? No, it shouldn't. So you need to have the right scope as well, not just a valid token. So let's add the scope. The first thing it will tell us to do is I need to create a resource API or URI. So we'll do that. Let's add it here. Save. Now we need to create a scope. So we'll name this scope access as user. Ta-da! There. And then we'll say both admins and users can consent. We don't want just admins to come and do that. I'll be a user, so I want to do it as a user as well. Then I want to have admin consent. So here we'll say access the app as a user, because that's what the scope name is. And then I'm lazy, so I'm going to copy paste this across. But you can actually be a lot more descriptive here and explain how this works. And you can also say, look, if you are going to be an admin, I need to give you a different message, a different prompt. And if you're a plain user, you need a different prompt. So that's what we need. We want it to be enabled, and then we're adding the scope. So that's our API configuration done. The code is also done to an extent. Now let's go and get an app registration for our client so we can actually get an access token and call our API. Should we actually try to run the app before we call it, just to see if it runs? But what are we going to return? I mean, right now it actually just expects stuff. So let's create a new endpoint. So app.get, and we'll say we'll call this simple stuff. And then in here, we get a request response, and then from here we go like that, done, and that's a bit, yeah. What is it complaining about? Overload one of 4 paths. Argument is not assignable to parameter. Simple stuff. That. We don't want to validate anything. Request. Shit. Okay. We're getting there. Okay, and here we're going to say response dot what do we want to send? Status to 100 because you succeeded, and then dot send hello world. It couldn't be more stereotypical than that, right? So now let's do npm run and see what happens. Although, do we need anything else for our TS config to work? So this one will compile it. It will compile stuff down to a JS, right? So npm start. Will it run? No. npm. You know what? It doesn't know what to start. So here, run and debug. Node.js. Node modules index there. I think it hasn't picked up the fact that we're using TypeScript yet, and therefore it can't compile process exit. To load an ES module, set type module in package.json or use MJS extension. Is it because I'm using that? It's mine now, it's not yours. Go away. So save that. Let's do this let's build the app. Although I think VS Code should have picked up the stuff that this is a Node.js app and needs to add some settings. So if I close this one down, let's close it down and open it again. Because I think VS Code will prompt us and say, hey, this seems like a Node.js app. Do you want me to add some components for you? If not, we'll have to add them by hand, which I am not particularly keen on doing. Nothing yet. Open a file, so it's customize run. We need to debug your own. No, it's a config that we need to configure, isn't it? Usually it prompts you to. What is it gonna do? What are you going to do? Ah, there you go. Yes, it's a Node.js app. Variable file cannot be resolved. Node. Okay, there you go. Why was it just cropping out like that? I don't know. Why are you doing this to me? Although this does not know that it's a. Let me see. I think I have another VS Code that allows us to. Sorry, I had another project somewhere that could do that for us. So I think somewhere in my VS Codes. Oh, you know what? I found it. So what are we going to do here? We're going to compile our TS. It's going to put stuff in the output directory. Oh, you know what? We don't have an out directory, so that's not going to work. We need to change our TS config and put an out directory here. Out directory, we say out. Now that, and thanks for following, by the way. I appreciate that. So now we should be able to configure task. npm install. Yeah. So no, whoa, where'd you find this? That's the, okay, tsconfig is here. It's just, where is it? This one. It's tasks, so it should be one level up. There. And same for this one. Should be just one level up. Will this work? Will it work? Let's find out. So now let's run it. It's compiling, it's running. What will it do? Oh God, error messages. To load an ES module, set type to module. What's that? Warning.js. In the package.json or use the MJS extension. No trace warnings. Okay. I think I'm missing something here, but we'll find it. We'll find it. We'll find it. So here we have index.js. Okay. So that is the task.json for compiling. That's the tsconfig here. That's the launch.json. So it says in the package.json we need to configure the set type to module. Why does it not like that? Okay, that's weird. So version, description, scripts, we don't have any tests. Dependencies. So that is fine. That is fine. That is fine. It says this is a type. Okay, type is module. Okay. I don't think I had to use this before. I wonder if it's something new. Okay, let's see what happens now. Will it run? Is a problem. What's the problem? Oh, string does not match the pattern. Okay, it's fine. What? Unknown file extension TS for yes. What? So now it doesn't like how we're compiling our TS and launch.json. What is our launch.json? Okay. So I copied that from N1 that knew that it was working, which is good. Index.ts. Almost like it doesn't know that it is a TypeScript project, but it is a TypeScript project, so it's just barfing out for no apparent reason. So am I missing something? So that's tasks. TS config. Yes. Build. TS config. Which is here. So it should be working just fine. Why does it not like the interesting? It doesn't like our configuration here. Okay. So let's go back into, so we need that, change the output, which is fine. See compiling TypeScript to learn features. So that. npm install, we have that one. tsc, yes. ts config, okay. Oh, you know what? It could be the fact that I created like the wrong thing. So let's do, to do this, open up the folder where you want to store your source and add a new file called tsconfig. We have our tsconfig here. We've done that. That's our tsconfig, transpile, okay. You can use this to that, okay. Run. Oh, okay. If you created that and that, okay. So let me remove this one for now. The, what is that? Tasks. Delete. Okay, let's move that there. And then let's do what it says here. Let's do Control-Shift-B. Okay, so it says run the build. So let's close this one down. So Control-Shift-B. There you go. Detected tasks. Is it building? Okay. So it seems that it has compiled it, and then in the out directory we have this, which is perfect. We got our index.js. Yay! Okay, so that's working. And then if we need to run, Control-Shift-B and then run. Control-Shift-B. What's run, build, or is it just npm start launch? But will it know that it's in the out? I think it knows it's in the out, isn't it? Okay, it's executing. Oh, we got it. Where are we? Let's open this one. Where are we? Is it running? Debug? Oh no. What did it say? Debugger attached. They tried to attach file extension, unknown file extension.ts. But when we run with the launch, we are running this output files, yes, build, run. Why does it not want to run? That is so weird. That is so weird. Unknown file extension. No, it's not. Debugger attached. So this one, I don't know. So is it a name? Is it barfing out about the name? Let's change that. Fine, I'll change it to Node API. There you go. Will it break stuff? Probably. Right, okay. So let's see, we'll run now. So terminal, close it, run Node.js. No. Is that the same error message? Yes, it's failing again. It says unknown file extension TS. No debugger available. Cannot send variables. Fine. Run build task. Is that the problems? Reviewing build issues. We don't have any build issues. We have the location. Hiding derived JavaScript files. We don't want to hide them. This is fine. Using newer TypeScript version. We don't want that. So for some reason it doesn't like us. Doesn't like us. Doesn't like what we did here, which is annoying. Next step, debugging TypeScript. I don't want debug. We haven't even run it yet. So it says unknown file extension TS for index.ts. Which is a TypeScript file. What are you doing to me? There you go. It knows it's a TS file. So where's that coming from? No debugger available. Okay, am I pointing to the wrong place? We say that, and then output files. Why is it thinking that there is no... Do I need to install? I mean, we already have it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go and install TypeScript. Just in case there's something messed up. If it can't find a debugger, then it means that something is wrong with our TypeScript. So here, I'm going to say that. What's the worst that can happen? Just updating our TypeScript. Okay, it's updated now. So will it work now? Was that the case? No. Oh, I want to cry now. Why? Why, TypeScript? Why are you doing this to me? What have I done to you? What have I done to you? Okay. TypeScript workspace, TypeScript index.ts. This is exactly the same thing. Index.ts, index.ts. I mean, the output file is there. Is it just a launch that doesn't know where to launch? Launch API. It compiles and then it says that's where my output files are going to be. Out. That is extremely weird. I just can't think of anything else that I need to change. Also, last time I used it, I didn't have to use modules. It was just straight up. So I don't see why this one's breaking. I'm going to close code. I'm going to open it again. You know, sometimes the restart works. Although this is not going to work, I'm pretty sure. Also, the fact that I did not get prompted for TypeScript or whatever, it's weird. Okay. Let's see, is it going to run this time? Like, being able to run it from the compiler, it's important. It will show us what's happening. Please start a debug session. Yeah, it's divided. Okay, unknown file extension TS. No debugger available. Okay. Oh, exciting. We're getting rated. Forward to have our 100 devs. 100 devs and more, I think. I think our friend Learn with Leon was doing a fantastic stream today talking about identity. So he is priming his 288 friends to come and rate us, which is going to be super exciting. And for those ones that are with us today, then there will be a quick question for the raffle. And if that happens, then, oh, there you go. The raid is starting. Woohoo! Welcome everyone. This is exciting. And you came at the right moment. We are in the process of actually trying to launch our Node.js app. which is weird. We might have to go back into just doing plain JavaScript stuff. But I know that you were working with Node. I think you were working with Node and Microsoft Identity. And in fact, we're doing the exact same thing right now. We are working with Microsoft Identity as well. It's nice to have you all. I mean, you guys are way too fast for me. I can barely catch up the names, but it's lovely to have you all here. We are working with Microsoft Identity and we're working with Node. And for this one, we're actually building an API. We're building a Node.js API that will accept tokens. So some front end will set an access token and our API will validate the tokens and it will allow us to return some data. However, right now we're stuck in not being able to run our JavaScript or TypeScript app. So I'm in the process of troubleshooting. So maybe you all know better than me how to do Node.js and TypeScript, since I will have to admit I am a .NET developer at heart. But sometimes I play around with other things. Yeah, I know that you're trying to mute me, but unfortunately, the bot that's running that, the code that's running that is on JP's machine, which means that you cannot mute me. But I appreciate the effort. It means that you value my opinion. So thank you very much. Thanks everyone for following. Okay, tokens for your troubles. Thank you very much. I do need some tokens. So here we are trying to actually implement the, run the API. We have the code ready. And I will walk you through that because where are the prizes? I know we promised prizes. So I did say there will be a tick question that I'm going to ask. So I want to make sure that you guys were paying attention. I want to know that you were paying attention to everything that Leon told you. So if you were paying close attention, then you should know the answer to the question. And there will be free stuff that we will send you for Bill Gates #1. We've been working very closely with Leon to come to our office after the stream. I don't know where your office is. I thought you gave up your office and you don't have an office anymore. Azure AD B2C, that's awesome. So people are doing that. Christos' presence is the price. I wouldn't say that, but I can also answer some identity questions. So if you picked up some things from Leon and you want to ask me about how things work or why things work in a certain way, then I'll do my best to answer them. But yeah, I'll do my best to explain certain things. Yeah, it was fun to sponsor Leon. I mean, he's doing a fantastic job with you guys, and I'm really happy to see that you're learning so many things. Identity is one of them, but I know identity is not always the most exciting subject. So I don't know if Leon is here, actually. He read it. I mean, he was with you for 3.5 hours. Do you want more of Leon? We could get him on the stream one day, we can get him on the 4 to 5 show to talk about the stuff that he's doing. But yes, I know. Leon is the goat of goats. He's the greatest of all time. I have big shoes to fill in. So stick with me while I do my best. So here we have, I was going through what we're building right now. And if you want to go through that, I'll give you a very quick tour of what we built so far. So Node.js MSAL, the Microsoft Authentication Library, landed about a week ago. Where are the tokens? What tokens? I haven't had tokens yet because I'm still trying to run my API. Still not working. Ah, man, it's exciting. At the same time, it's frustrating. Like sometimes I work with Node and it works beautifully, and then I try to put TypeScript on that, and everything follows to pieces or falls to pieces. So I might have to go back into just using plain old JavaScript with Node to do our bit. Although I did have a working solution last week, so I am surprised that this machine just doesn't like TypeScript apparently, or so it says. So when I try to execute, we get a weird error message when we try to debug. Why not the 525 stream? I love these questions. So 425, for those ones that are well versed into the HTTP error codes, it means I'm having a hard time keeping up with the stream at 1080. So the 45 show, it is code too early. So when we agreed to do the stream early in the 45 show days, JP said, let's do it at 10 a.m. And I was excited. I was like, yeah, 10 a.m. works perfectly for me. But I was young and naive, and I didn't know there were time zones, which By the way, time zones are fake news. So it was too early. 10 a.m. for Eastern time is 7 a.m. Pacific. So getting up at 7 a.m. to do a stream was definitely not fun. Also, yes, 45 is the Redmond area, and this is where Microsoft is based. So we have it's either the Redmond show or the too early show, depending on where you're doing the stream. JP is fine. It's 10 a.m. for him always. So, oh, we have some flat earthers here. I like it. It's an inclusive community, and we love all people. So if you think that you're flying around and you just land in a different neighborhood, then that's absolutely fine. I like to take my trips and go far, far, far away. So I think at 7:30 we'll do our raffle. So for that raffle, I will ask you a question related to something you did with Leon, which I know that you did. So I want to make sure that you guys were paying attention. And then the first 10 to answer, we'll grab that information, and then we will reach out to you. In fact, before we even do that, I will give you our email address. So if you are selected, if you are one of the first 10, I will select randomly, and then I will ask you to email us at the 425 so at Microsoft.com, so you can get your prize or collect your prize. And we'll have a water bottle, the 425 so water bottle, which is awesome. I know that we didn't have enough time to send them to Leon yet, but this is one of them. I don't have my Yeti cap here. There will be a 45 so there will be this one. There will be a nice Yeti cap for your coffee if you like your warm coffee, and there will be an Azure voucher for $100, which we will give out so you can do the things that we do here. I know you're Jon Snow and you know nothing. It's fine. We're here to educate all our friends. So this is where we are. Actually, our app is not running because it doesn't like TS files, which apparently it's TypeScript, and TypeScript is supposed to work very well with Visual Studio Code. So let's see what the hell I've done wrong. By the way, if you haven't, no, the swag is not for US folks only. We will send them to everyone. I think the Azure credits that we issued are also for everyone that wants to around the globe. So you don't have to be in the US to get your Azure vouchers. So stay tuned, 7:30, just remind me. So let's go and see what the error message is. But before I do that, if you don't have a Microsoft 365 developer account that gives you a free Azure AD, then you can get it here. Just go and sign up. I'll put the link on the chat. So there you have it. And everyone can go and sign up for a free account. This is totally free. You don't have any obligation. You don't have to use a credit card. You just need to use an email address, and it will give you a full Azure AD plus test data. It will give you users. It will give you graph data. So there will be email events, calendar events, and you can use that information to pull it out when we do demos like this one that we're doing today. So taking a step back, there is a Microsoft MSAL library for Node, which went GA as of, am I looking at the right repo? Yes, here, which went GA just 2 weeks ago, and allows you to acquire tokens for both Azure AD and B2C, and it's super awesome. There are some examples about what you can do with it. There are also examples about, oh, you know what? This is not the Node. The Node one is here. See, that's why I'm in the wrong place. That was the generic JavaScript library, but there's a specific one for Node, which is here. And this one comes with the available clients. So public clients are the ones that cannot be trusted, like mobile apps or browser single page apps, where the end user can actually look into the app and look at your secrets. So it's a public client, and we can't trust it with secrets. To get around this one, we have authorization code with Pixie, which creates a proof key for code exchange, kind of a framework where the sender, the app itself, can send a verification code to the identity provider, i.e. Azure AD, and Azure AD can use that to verify the details and say, I trust the sender, so let me send you the tokens. And there's no secret exchange in there because they're public clients. Remember, we can't trust them. Confidential clients, server-side apps, Node.js, .NET, anything that runs on the backend is actually supported. So with With confidential clients, we can have secrets. And our API that is running behind the scenes in a server, it has a client secret that allows it to go and acquire tokens for other APIs. And they have also some fun stuff, like in the samples, you can see that you can create all these different scenarios, like an express app with OAuth 2 for acquiring tokens, device code for acquiring tokens in the command line. Device code is used when you have your TV and you go to Netflix, and Netflix says you need to sign in before you use it. And it says go on your phone or some other machine to this URL, put this code in, and then that will authenticate you. And you can come back and your TV is working with Netflix now because you signed in somewhere else. That's the device code flow. I know there's a lot of terminology here, so ignore that for now. But it works with both Azure AD, so organizational users, and we support B2C, which are all external users. Like somebody with a Gmail account that wants to sign into our app, that will be the B2C solution. And in the samples, we jumped onto the on behalf of because it has an API. And I always wanted to create a Node.js API that authenticates with Azure AD. Now you can use Passport, and I think you guys used Passport on your examples with Leon. That's absolutely fine. We do support any open source, any library, in fact, that supports OpenID Connect and OAuth 2 for acquiring ID tokens and access tokens. You don't have to use MSAL. And by the way, MSAL does not allow you to sign in. So you still have to use Passport, which is annoying for the front end. So right now, what you see here is an MSAL library that allows you to acquire tokens for other APIs on behalf of the user. So here in this sample, there are two solutions. It's the web app that calls the API, and the API takes the token that the web app passes, and it passes that, it takes that, and then it validates the token. And then once it validates the token, then it checks for the signature to make sure that it came from the authority that it said, i.e. Azure AD. And once it does that, there is a public endpoint where the token comes in, the request comes in, we validate the token. If that is okay, then we carry on with the rest of the code. If not, then it returns either a 401 or a 403. 401 means that you're unauthenticated. 403 means that you failed the validation process. Right now, it doesn't do much in terms of validating, so it's almost incomplete. Like one of the things that you want to do with your JWT tokens is making sure that not only they're valid, but they also have the right scopes for your API or the resources that need to access. So it could be, read access or write access or admin access. And this API currently does not do that. So if we have enough time, we'll try to implement this as well. Now let's go back and see where we are. You know what? In fact, I'm going to remove the TS stuff and I'm going to add this thing, a row, and carry on from there. Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Ediker? Ediker? Sorry, I am awful with names, but they say we used MongoDB and it created an extra Microsoft ID field in the plain text. How does the user data stay secure? Okay, that's a great question. So let's see what the user data looks like, right? So if you go into the Graph Explorer or Graph at Microsoft is a fantastic tool that gives you access to a lot of data. And it's the one API to rule them all. So if I go to ak.msge Graph Explorer, then inside Graph Explorer, you notice that there's an option to make a query to the me endpoint, i.e. me. So if I run this on my test tenant, you'll see that here it has a user principal name and then it has an ID. That is a GUID. So that doesn't say much. It's not PII information. So someone cannot. Yeah, there's actually a Postman plugin for Graph. So if you go into, I don't know if I have the Postman extension here, but let's see if I have it installed. While this one is loading, this information cannot be used to find who the user was, more or less. It's not possible. Oh yeah, I do have it. Check this out. So there's an option to, oh no, that's not the one. Yeah, there you go. Check this out. So if you are using Postman and you like Postman, then there is actually a plugin for Postman for Graph. So you don't have to use another tool. However, I like Graph Explorer because I don't have to authenticate. In fact, it picked up the fact that I was already authenticated, although that's a different directory. And then here, you know, I can even go and get my access token. Check this out. That's my access token. That's amazing. So I'm signed in. I need to access Graph, and it's my access token. And it also tells you what kind of permissions you need to have to access that API. So it does it all for you. So Postman will require a little bit more work to get the token in your hands before you call any endpoints. Anyway, now this ID here that somebody asked is not information that can be used to find out who the user is, unless they have access to the graph or unless they have access directly to the Azure AD component. Therefore, you can use that in your MongoDB to say this data belongs to this user, and then within your application, you can either do a graph query to say who is this user, or you can use the ID token to map it. So that actually is how it works. So you don't have to worry about disclosing personal information. That information doesn't have to be hashed or encrypted because, again, it's a GUID, and you can't find my address, you can't find my name unless you can use directly that ID and interrogate the right tenant. So I hope that explains it. You can start using this as much as you want. Sorry, that ID here. Okay. You're welcome. Glad to help. So as I was saying, we need to grab this, and I'm going to remove the TypeScript stuff because right now it's tripping me out, and I want to move on with the code rather than playing around with TypeScript. So let's close this one. This one's fine. I want to come here. I want to remove the tsconfig. Delete. Yes. I want to remove the launch.json. Delete. Yes. And then I just want to rename this one to JS. And then I'm going to remove the out directory as well. Delete. And now it doesn't like this because it wasn't us. So what was the very top? So at the very top we had consts. Const and const. Let's copy that across. So I hope you enjoyed your session with Leon. I know he's a fantastic teacher. So unfortunately I couldn't attend because I was speaking at the user group, and then I was getting ready for this stream. So there you have it. Okay, so now let's save this one. There should be any other error messages. So now if we were to run this, run and debug, it's Node. It doesn't like the fact that it's Node. Is it? Will create something for us. VS Code. No configuration. Yeah, I know there's no configuration, so add the configuration for me. Control-Shift-B, is it? Configure build task. npm test, npm run. I don't want to do that. So, I mean, worst case scenario, we can do npm star, right? I can figure out why his VS Code looks different than mine. The hides Windows. Yeah, sorry, I'm not. I have a MacBook and I have a Mac Mini M1, so I tend to go in between, but I have a very, very beefy machine. The purple VS Code looks sick. Yeah, if you want to use this one, the theme is it's called Bearded Theme, and you can change that. No judgment. Hey, I love I love all the operating systems. I have some Linux VMs running on Azure right now, so it's all good. And you can bearded theme. It needs to match with my beard, and my daughters love purple, so I went with purple. It's one of my favorite themes. So here, honestly, JavaScript, what are you doing to me? Oh yes, Okay, you don't like this one, obviously, because yeah, we're not. And there was another change that I did earlier on. So we're copy pasting for now just to get it running. And then once we get this running, then we can add the things that we want. In fact, we can just check what it's doing. So here is, where is it? Is it down here? Yes. TypeScript didn't like this one, but now this one is good. Like worst case scenario, I'll go like a savage and not debug it. npm start. Of course it doesn't like it because there's nowhere to start. I am such a noob with Node. The annoying thing is that I had this running last week on a different machine, so I think there's something wrong with my machine here. But it's fine, we'll get there, we'll get there, we'll get there. We'll make it. There's no script in the package.json. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I need to add something here, but okay. Thank you, sir. Or I'm Rambo Hammett. Rambo Hammett. I like it. So let's go. VS Code Node.js. Build Node.js with VS Code. Okay. So what do we need to do? That is okay. We've done that. Oh, Node app. Oh, okay. Just Node and index.js straight away. Let's run. Node index.js. Require express. What? We didn't like that either. Yes. Require express. It may be converted to an ES6 module. Oh, is that a good thing? Now it happened. Let's see what happens now. Is it gonna break again? No, it doesn't like that. Common modules cannot be imported via default export. For example, name export verify cannot be found. I had something here, so that's all good. You know what, I think that's the type module that we put there that broke stuff. So maybe now it will work. Trace warnings. To load, oh, it actually needs modules there. That's interesting. Oh no, no, what do we do? Okay, I had that. But that there. Let's see. Express requires not defined. What the hell? How's that even possible? Why would not be defined? Dun, 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 dun. Main index.js. Yeah. Don't want to debug that. You need to also do app. Oh yeah, what? Oh, we do have app equals express. It's down here. Equals express. Is it too far down? I mean, that's what we got out of the box, right? So technically it should work. Fun and games with TypeScript and JavaScript and Node. Is the same error message? Yeah, it is. So it's require express. God. File is a common JS module. It may be converted to an ES6 module. Single quotes. Oh, you think? I don't think that makes a difference though, does it? Or is JavaScript that particular with regards to... I mean, we can try it. Yeah, so if I don't use modules, then it breaks for other things. So there you go, I can do this. Oh, there's Stack Overflow there. Nice, let's see. I'm not using a TypeScript, this is directly just JS. But as I said, I was running a similar project last week and it was working fine based on this solution. So I don't get it. Damn it. Huh. God damn. Okay, it's working. Port 8000. Okay, that's okay. So it's working. Let's test it. I mean, the first thing that we need to do is test it. So if we come here, let's say ad hoc. I don't want documentation. Yeah. Well, we only spent an hour trying to get this to run. I mean, I don't see why not, right? So here. No auth, I don't want any auth. There. So HTTP, yeah, real-time debugging. What was the solution? I don't know. I removed the modules from package.json and it worked. HTTP localhost 8000, and then if we do OBO, which is our endpoint, it will send us with a 403, which is forbidden. Okay, I see. Thank you. Yay! Now we're getting a forbidden, which is expected. We don't have a key. We don't have a token to go and speak to that. So if we look at our endpoint all the way down here, let me close this one. All the way down here, check this out. It says on behalf of. I'm expecting a token to validate a token. If that doesn't exist, then the validate token will take us straight into, hey, it's a 403. I can verify anything. So let's go and grab a token. Now, while you guys were wrapping things up with Leon, we went ahead and created our app registration for the API. So the API now knows how to authenticate things. And we have a scope as well, which we'll talk about a little bit. But now we need a front-end app registration for a front end. And in this instance, we're gonna use Postman to call our API. So I think I named this one. If you don't know, you can just search. I hate the fact that like you dismiss these banners and they stay there forever. Is this different with require and import export? Probably, I guess. I don't know much about stuff, so I don't know much about JavaScript. I'm just playing around. Yeah, you got this. Hey, BSD guy, thanks for joining us again today. So we have an MSAL node stream demo. That's for our API. Let's go and create a new one for the client. So MSAL node demo client. Again, only users in this app. And then we'll say we want to authenticate our Postman. So for Postman to work with authorization, we need to provide some information. So here, let's remove that one. Let's say node demo, and we'll use localhost, so that's fine. The platform, it's web, so HTTP localhost. Now here, very important. The redirect URI is where we're going to send the tokens back. This needs to match the app, whether it's a console app, whether it's a single page app, or whether it's a Postman. The client configuration and the Azure AD configuration need to match. So if I were to say localhost and I was to mistype that, or if I say localhost port 3000, for example, or 3003, and these two didn't match, then it would fail. It would fail, the authentication would work, so I would sign in, but the ID token that was supposed to return back to the app will not go back to the app, and instead we'll receive an error message saying, I'm really sorry for that, there's been a mismatch, so you can't get your token. And that's to protect you as a user, so someone can't steal your token and send it to some other app, and that's to protect developers to make sure that tokens are only returned to their app. And localhost can only be used with HTTP. You cannot run HTTP can only be used with localhost. You cannot run HTTP with production systems. So unless you're running localhost, you can't. So anything else needs to use HTTPS. Nice thing here is you can have multiple URIs here. So I will add this one and then say, if I want to test in my QA environment, I can have https myqa.com, right? And you can add it here, you can add as many as you want, and they will all work. So it's not exclusive, so it doesn't fail if it doesn't find one. It's not the exact same thing. It has similar functionality, but two different APIs that load files slightly differently. Oh, sorry, you're talking about modules and ES6 and ES5. So I get it. I thought you were talking about what I was saying. I was like, well, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Okay, so now that we have this configured and we say we want to grab access tokens and ID tokens, we also need to go and configure a secret. Now, I trust you that you're not going to go and use the secret to hack me, are you? Right, so 6 months, I can leave it blank and say I want to grab this. So now, let's go into our Postman and let's add some of the information that we acquired. First thing is my secret. There you go. Let's add this there. Then we need to set the client ID, and for that information to be found, I need to come here and I need to grab the client ID, which I think I did. It was the client ID, that is correct. So client ID here, let's make that happen. Eyes closed, good. I'll tell you when to open your eyes. You're good now. The directory is E081, which is the same as here, so I don't change this one. Oh, if you need to find your access token URL and auth URLs and you don't know where to find them, in your app registration, you click here, and then this will give you all the endpoints you need. Ta-da! Easy as that. So you don't have to memorize them, you don't have to know them. For your directory, this will be these values. You can copy them from here. So let's close this one. What else do I need to do? Oh, you know what? There's one thing that we need to go and fix, but it's fine. We'll fix it in a bit. So let's finish with this token first. So we got the secret, the scope. Let's add the scope. So in this API, in this app, in the client app, we need to say what kind of tokens do we want to get. So for that to work, you can all open your eyes now. It's absolutely fine. We don't need graph. Or do we need graph? We may need graph later. So let's leave it here for now. Add the permission. And since we are going to call our API, so these are all not relevant, although nice to know that we can get tokens for these things. I'm going to say, I'm going to call my API, and we named our API that. So this now information, remember, we need to have the scope, the right scope to call our API. That, it doesn't require admin consent, so that's good. I can consent as a user and be able to work with this. And now I need this URI. So this is the resource I'm calling the token for. This is what we're saying here. The scope is for this specific solution. So here I have that. And then do I need to change anything else? I don't think so. So now we need to go and get a token. And that prompts me to sign in. That comes here. I'm in the right directory and the right user. So I am surprised that doesn't remember my password. Hunter2. I hope we're all using the same password so we don't have any issues. Now check out this nice thing over here. This is the consent framework for Microsoft Identity. This one says, do you as a user want to give access to these permissions? Do you consent to these permissions? One of them is for my profile, so it's the OpenID Connect profile. Hunter2, exactly, that's what I'm saying. Thank you, the Diabolical. That's the whole point. Everybody should be using the same password, so we don't have to worry about passwords. The first one is for OpenID Connect. The second one is for getting offline access, so that's for our refresh token. And then this one is the specific one that we configure, remember, for our API. So now let's say accept, and that will give us the access token. Dun, 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 dun. Collecting the access token, it's getting it, it got it. Awesome, proceed. Oh, access token in hand. Let's go and see what it looks like. Have you ever seen an access token behind the scenes? You don't have to have your eyes closed. Okay, yeah, let's move along. So here we say, AK, sorry, no, it's not AK, it's not AK, it's jwt.ms. Oh, Sahil is joining us. Hey, Sahil, how you doing, buddy? Well, it's time for the raffle. Thank you. Right, okay, so the question will be, what do you need in Azure AD in order for you to authenticate users? What do you need to create in Azure AD so that users can authenticate with Azure AD? What do you need to create? You're all close. The token is what you get at the back of that, but you need to do something first. And we just did it. So I am disappointed because you should have done it with you should have done it with Leon, and you just did it with me. Everybody can play. Oh, JP is here. Man, you already have all the swag that you need, man. What do you need? We're giving out JP has joined the hood. Ah, man. You don't need the Microsoft ID. You don't need the user ID. What do you need to create inside Azure AD for you to be able to authenticate users? I will give you a small hint. Let me go back to my Azure AD. No secrets. Tokens is what you get once you authenticate your users. But in order for you to show your intent to Azure AD, in order to say, hey, I'm going to use you for authentication, what do you need to do? Right, so then the next thing that it will happen is we'll see who can type the fastest. Right, it's here. It's up here. You don't need passport. Passport is a library. It's up here. Register an app. Yes. Funny commentary. There you go. Register. Like the first 10, and then we'll stop, and then I will select something at random. How do we make it random? I mean, I don't know, you guys. So registration. Yes, it is a registration. You need to register an app, right? That is the beginning of showing your intent of what you're trying to do. You need to register an app. And then in the app, you're going to come in and say, well, you know what? I am going to authenticate. This one doesn't have one. So let's go and see what happens. We need to authenticate a web app, or we need to authenticate users via a single page app, or we need to authenticate a mobile app via iOS or macOS, or an Android app, or a desktop app. Calling favors for Clark IO. I don't know, man. I don't know. Right, so we have enough names here. Let me just grab them from here so we can see what's happening. So, but everybody, thanks everyone for playing. I mean, that was fun, right? So let's see. Funny commentary. He was fastest. Math.random. Yes. That's how we'll do it. I use my trusty notepad. Yeah, you need to register your app. That's absolutely right. Tan, tan, tan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. So I need a number from 1 to 10. I'll ask JP. I thought I won because I was the first one. Well, I did say it would be a case of typing now. So I gave away most of the hints there. It couldn't have been more hint. 3. So 3 is Thraxme. Thraxme. 3. So Thraxme. Congrats, my friend. You got it. Just email us at 425 so if I can type at microsoft.com, and we'll make sure that you get your swag, man. So in my defense, the name drop was to relate. I know you say that now, funny commentary, but I don't know, man. It almost feels like you're name dropping there. I'm just kidding. We'll do like this one. It was for the Yeti Mag, so we'll do another one in 25 minutes. So stay tuned. Right, we have our app working. We have the token. We acquired the token. I was going to show you what the token looks like before I forgot. Man, you guys are distracting me here. Copy, and then we're going to go to jwt.ms. See, I almost typed it and then we stopped. Right, Lakshmi, don't forget to send that email, my friend. We need to get you that awesome swag. Have you ever met Bill Gates? He left Microsoft long before I joined. However, I met Satya. And I missed the opportunity to speak to him because I was in a call with a customer. He came out from one of the EBCs, the Executive Business Center, where we host customers and they come in for the whole day. And he was probably talking to some high-profile customer. So I am on the phone with another customer talking about some issues that I had with Xamarin app, and we're trying to help them out. And I'm sitting outside waiting for my session, which was in about 45 minutes. And Satya comes out, and I'm on the call, so I can't drop. I mean, I could have said, I'm losing you, sorry, and drop the call and go and speak to Satya. But I missed the opportunity. Two other guys grabbed him. They said hi. Usually he has security around him, so it's not as easy to approach him. And I missed the freaking chance. So yeah, I know, man. I know. I missed the chance. Customers, you know what? Yeah, exactly. We're customer obsessed here. I know. That's the whole of Microsoft. You know what? I would have said, hey, can I get a selfie with you or something? Just to prove that I was there. But nah. He was actually quite fashionable. You're absolutely right. Yeah, he was pretty cool. And he was pretty approachable. Like the other two guys that were right next to me, maybe like 5 yards away. Like, oh, Mr. Satya, can we say hi or something? And then he stopped and talked to them for a few minutes. And I was on my call, ready to cry. Like, I'm missing the opportunity. But it's fine. It's fine. Okay, let's talk tokens, right? We have an access token here. Technically, you should not be touching access tokens. Your app should get the access token, pass it to the appropriate API, and the API is... You thought I was AWS? We can use AWS. We don't mind. Identity runs everywhere. We can authenticate apps on AWS and it will still work. More live stories. We got plenty of live stories. Make sure to subscribe to the 45 show so you can hear more stories on Tuesdays and Fridays at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Pacific time. We changed the time. Right. Okay. Let's see what we have here. We have a token, an access token. There's information about the audience. This is our API, remember, we installed the API. The issuer is STS because I said we need to fix something. It is STS because right now we're having a V1 or version 1 tokens. We need version 2 tokens, which are the latest and greatest. So we'll change that. I'll show you how to do it. Then we have the expiry date, not before usage, issued at. So all these are standard claims. They're part of the OAuth 2 standard as well. Now further down here we have some more information like email, who am I see there's a lot of freaking information here like my IP address. Why is my IP address in there? Damn. Anyway, the important bit here is the scope. So remember we requested that scope for that specific audience and therefore security. Yeah, I know. Now you know where I live. And then we have the access here. What is your why is my SSN there? Yeah, I know. Why did I put my SSN in there? I have no idea. It's because I want to share with you. I'm open to collaboration. Okay, so we have everything we need. However, we need to go and change our issuer. So back into our MSAL node stream demo. Let's close this. We don't need that. But we definitely need to go into our manifest. It doesn't have them. Yes, but I can tell them. Mother's maiden name is Papadopoulos, and my first pet was, I don't know, fish tank, whatever. You ask and you shall get. Mother's shoe size is, I have no freaking clue. 5.5? Is it too small? Like, I don't even know. Mother's shoe size. So up here, you'll notice that access token accepted version is null. That means it's defaulting to 1. We want to go to 2. So change that to 2. Save it. save messing with JSON. So this is a representation of what you see in the UI, all in JSON format. And unfortunately, you can only change the accepted version here for the token. So now we can go and get another token because that's the get new access token. So it will remember us. It might remember us. There you go. So it's signing in. Let's see the difference now. Will it have the different SDS, the different validation authority? Yeah, it will. It will. I trust it will. So now we're joke factories. Yeah, sorry guys. It's a lot of advanced stuff that we're talking here. And if you have any questions about tokens and what we're talking about, then please let me know. Check this out. Now we have the right issuer. It's the login Microsoft, because if we didn't have that one and we won't go back into the code, there is a configuration setting for, so this one won't work because getting the keys from the common endpoint would result in an error message because STS wouldn't match with our key verifier. So now that we have the right token, we can call the on behalf of endpoint, I think. Let's try that out. Yeah, I want to use this one. So use token and then OBO send invalid grant. The user administrator has not consented to use the application. It's an API, right? Yeah. Also, I did not request this this permission. So named MSAL node, send an interactive authorization request for this user or resource. And because this is an API, you're welcome, man. There will be a blog post about this on the 45 show. So if you want to read about how to do it, aka.ms 425 show blog, we'll try to put something up tomorrow. Thank you. Now, let's see. If we go back into our API, we need to consent for it, so the API can go and do it for us. So in the API permissions, not here. Yep. Wait, what kind of permissions are we looking for? Can't remember what it's looking for. So this one is going to look for graph me. Okay, so it needs the access token user to read. Okay. Done. So let's see if that works again now. We're here. There you go. Now remember, the API cannot consent for itself because there's no interactive user. So we need to consent on its behalf. So somebody needs to go and consent for it. Man, I know, it's been a long day. So this is all working now. It's working securely and it's working end to end. I think it's been a long day for me as well. So at this point, we will recap. We will do another raffle for the cap. So they get these out. It went to our good friend Thraxme, and then we'll do one more for this one, and we'll do another one for the Azure voucher, and then we will call it a day. So I think we have 15 more minutes. So let's see what we've done, what we achieved, and what we need to do. So and there will be a question. So I hope you were paying attention. You guys are true Twitch streamers. 7+ hours. I was not streaming for 7 hours. I did stream. Did we do a stream this morning? I did a stream this morning at 8 a.m. with a very good friend, Seth Juarez. We did some machine learning, which was great. And then I had a user group as well just before this one. So I think I've been speaking nonstop for about 5 hours. My voice is still there. Yeah, you caught the AI stream. That's awesome. Seth is fantastic. By the way, Seth has its own show. It's called the AI Show on Fridays on the MS Learn channel. And this guy is fantastic. He explains some very complicated things in very simple ways. And even if you're a JavaScript developer, you can still benefit from our machine learning platform. So if you've never worked with machine learning at all, you don't have to be an expert. In fact, if I can use it, anybody can use it. And I built some fantastic solutions with machine learning. And there's a pre-canned set of services for machine learning. I know we're sidetracking now from the stream, but it's fine. So if you go to Azure Machine or cognitive services they're called, you can run your cognitive services in the cloud for you. It has a number of services. Let's see, does it have all the capabilities? No. Isn't this the worst? Try cognitive service for free. Yes, press the button. There you go. And that's for Azure. I want to sign in. I don't want to create a new account. I already have plenty of accounts. So now I want to sign into my, I could have gone to Outlook. It's fine. Will it take me? Yes. Yes. No. So in cognitive, thank you. I already signed in. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, let's see. Cognitive services, thinking about it. It's logging in. It's reprocessing. Come on. You can do it. Oh, signing me in now. So with cognitive services, which I haven't used before, so let's make this big. Cognitive services. You can select from a plethora of, oh wow, I have other people's cognitive services here, which I don't want to use. So no. Apply. Do I have anything in here? CM internal. I think that's the only one I need to use. Yeah, that's probably the main one. I don't think I have anything. So you can say I want to add a new one. It will say what kind of machine learning do you want to use, which is brilliant. Close. New Azure benefits filter. Ooh, nice. So you have bots. You can create a bot for your apps. You can create a bot channel. You have some third-party features as well. I think is there more? See more? See more. Oh, these are all the bot services. I don't want a bot service. I want something cool like, oh God, it kicked me out. Create cognitive services. Yes. Close. So down here it has ML service if you want to do some raw stuff. There is a lot of things here. Yes. Then there is robotic process, data labeling. It's pretty awesome. There's knowledge mining. I mean, this one has grown significantly since the last time I used it. Can I search for image? Image. Grafana, it doesn't have image. Like a picture. Is your schedule 11 a.m. ET Mondays and Fridays, or is it still changing? Do we have that as, is that our schedule? No, it's 10 a.m. ET. Oh, sorry, it's 11 a.m. ET. Sorry, see, I told you time zones are fake news. 11 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays and Fridays for all developer-related content. It's changed. I think we changed it back at the beginning of January. We were Monday and Friday for some time, but now we are at Tuesdays and Fridays. It gives us enough time to schedule and plan our events. Yeah, that sounds a little bit early. I know. Tell that to my friend JP, who I agreed without even thinking about. Too early for me right now. Well, the nice thing is that we record everything, right? So even if you can't see it live, it's all available for you on our YouTube channel. God, yeah, we need to change that. Sorry, we're awful with maintaining our schedule. So Discord. And if you always want to find out, or if you want to connect with us, we have a fantastic Discord channel. A very vibrant community. I know it's not as big as Leon's, so I'm not going to take any credit there. But at the same time, if you have any identity questions, we have a lot of people that can help you out. And if you have issues, we can also escalate with our support team internally. So there you have it. You can also see at the very top here that in the middle we have get help. So if you can reach out to us anywhere, we do have an official channel for you to go and reach out. Yeah, I know. Stream schedule is good, but you also need to put descriptions. And oh God, we have our proper schedule, and we have a new website that will be landing soon. But it's empty. Like our calendar on that website says stream Friday, nothing else. So we need to add descriptions as well. I feel you. It's a challenge to stay on top of everything else. But what was like speech? Let's see what it gives us for speech. Speech to text. That's the Microsoft one. So you can, take speech and convert it to text, or you can take text and convert it to speech. This is amazing. Yeah, everybody needs a bot for that. I wonder if we should write that bot live on the stream. God, I know. Right, so okay. So cognitive services are awesome. So we had Seth Juarez that explained how to use cognitive services, but he also explained a lot of other terminologies. At some point I lost him. He was like so far advanced that I didn't know what he was talking about. But anyway, let's recap what we did for our app today. So we have a Node.js API that is running on JS. We don't have any TypeScript because TypeScript failed me today miserably. And we're using a couple of libraries. Maybe Clark.io knows him. I don't know. Technoghost would love that job. It seems like Clark.io knows everyone. Am I missing something? I know that this guy is everywhere, but everybody seems to know him, which is good. Right. And Clark is a good friend of ours. I think we're scheduling some co-streams with him. So here we have the MSAL library that we're pulling in. We have JWT for working with our tokens, and we have a JWKS client that will allow us to help. We're importing this library here that will allow us to work with verifying our token. The very first method that we have is the validate JWT, which in effect looks into the JWT token. It grabs the audience and the issuer from our config, which is further down here. So this is the information that it's using, and says based on that information, let's go and get the signing keys and verify the token that it came from the right authority. That access token that our API is using is then, once it gets validated, it allows us to go and acquire a token on behalf of the user to go and call the graph. And that's all it does. So it grabs the, it goes and gets the token, and then it calls the graph, passes that, the new access token that we got for the graph into the call, and then it returns back the response. See, that's the new token that we get from here. So acquire token with this request, pass the response back, and then there you have it. I know that we're running out of time. I was planning on putting some Azure love there to call our Cosmos DB, but I will probably keep it for another stream. And I'm annoyed that my TypeScript just didn't work. It was working on my other machine, which is a laptop, and my desktop just didn't like it. So I either missed something or missed a step, or I'm too tired to think straight. And I appreciate your help because you helped me run this one, because I couldn't get it to run either. So there you have it. There will be a blog, and we will explain what we're doing. I think if you like TypeScript, have you heard of Rust? I have heard of Rust. In fact, some teams at Microsoft are actually using Rust because it allows you to create more secure, more performant code. I haven't played with Rust before. I haven't played with Go either. So I'm falling behind on the new cool stuff that's happening there. I mean, I can barely keep up with the identity things as they come through. So yeah, it's one of these things that it's on my to-do list, like play with Go, play with Rust, play with other languages. But again, at the same time, I need to find time for all these things, and there are too many exciting stuff happening. TypeScript is good if you're working with, it's dev life, absolutely right. It's what it is. New shiny stuff, work that we have to do, taxes we have to pay, and all that. Oh, like, cause Rust devs usually push it onto you. Did I push TypeScript onto you guys? I mean, I was trying to do it, but I didn't push it down. I thought I like TypeScript because it adds this kind of type safety, and there's a pre-compilation that happens for JavaScript, converting TypeScript into JavaScript, and that means that if there are any error messages, then you can get them. Does anyone know that theme? It is. Thanks, man. Or it's very hard to know, right? So if I go to the control-TP theme, we talked about the theme earlier on. It's called bearded theme, and then from here, you can just choose whichever one you like. Vanilla.js is good. Like we're using Vanilla.js here, but at the same time, the problem with Vanilla.js is that it doesn't provide any safety. So you have to wait until you run the app to see any failures. So bearded black and amethyst. Yeah, I think that's the one I'm using right now. It has all these available. No, you're welcome. Thank you, guys. I mean, our goal is to educate developers to write more secure software. I don't care if you prefer Vanilla.js, if you like TypeScript, if you like C++, if you like Rust. My whole point is that if you're using them, you should be able to create secure access. So in this instance, our API is secured via the validation of the token. One of the things that we're not doing here, and I will do in a subsequent stream, is to make sure that, oh yeah, doing it in Perl, I don't know, man. I mean, I think that's where I draw the line. Perl would be, like, I can reach the Perl because everything that we wrote here would probably one line in Perl and 16 characters. Am I wrong or am I wrong? Right. So, yeah. So we're not checking for our scope in here anywhere, which is bad. Like this is another security feature that we should be using in our tokens. Not just checking for a valid token, not just checking for a valid issuer and the fact that the token has not expired, but also making sure that we have the right scope. So the caller should have the right permissions to call our API with the right scope. And you saw how we configure the scope. Going back to Azure AD, here, if we go back here, in our API, we expose the API here by creating this, this beautiful scope. Let me expand this. Oh, expand the wrong thing. So that's our scope. You can create multiple scopes. So I could have an access as user, and now I could also create a new scope. That will be access as admin. Access as admin. I can't even type. Access as admin. Oh, we're creating a secure Node.js API. And then I was planning to add, or we're going to add on subsequent streams, access to Cosmos DB without any secrets. So our code will be able to call into Cosmos DB, like the MongoDB that you used before, without passing a connection string. It will know where the Cosmos DB URL is, where the resource is, but it's not going to pass a secret or a key. It will use the currently authenticated identity that I will pass in either from the Azure CLI or my VS Code. If you check down here, my VS Code has a user. I can use this user to automatically call into Azure resources without having to pass secrets. So that's fairly easy to achieve. In fact, it takes a couple of lines of code, and I can give you a sneak peek if you want. So Azure Identity is the library that does that for us. Azure Identity, working on a digital identity platform using Ethereum. Oh wow, that is crazy. A digital identity platform using Ethereum. So you're using blockchain to create identities and manage identities? Is that it? I think we already have a solution for that. It's called DID, Distributed Identities, and it's part of Microsoft as well. So it sounds pretty cool, man. Like you must have a lot of knowledge on how blockchain works and how you can build a platform on top of blockchain. But kudos to you. I wouldn't be able to know where to start or where to end. Azure Identity, Azure SDK, right? So the here, Azure Identity for .NET clients. Do they have one for non.NET? They must have. Let's see. That's all .NET. I don't want .NET. I want Azure SDK JS. They have samples, so npm install. Oh yeah, that's because they use a sample default. Yeah, let's go with this one. Have you ever heard of Nuit? No, I fell in love with blockchain, but I didn't study it. Yeah, I can imagine. So check this out. You get Azure Identity added to your npm packages. So you install it, and then let's say you want to use Key Vault, right? The first thing you do is actually say, I want to create a new credential. This will work out how to find the right identity. If there is one logged in locally in Visual Studio Code or your Azure CLI, will pick it up. And then you will create one. If you're running on the cloud, you can use the managed identity, which is all Azure Active Directory driven. And then check this out. You say, I want to access this Key Vault, but I'm only passing the credentials. I'm not, like, these credentials don't have any, like, you can see there's nothing in the code here. It just says, find me some credentials I can use, then pass them on to the client. And as long as this account has the right permissions to call into Key Vault, then it can get a list of all the keys or whatever, which is brilliant. We're going to work on that, or we're going to work on something similar, but with Cosmos. So we'll configure Cosmos to say I can work with identities. We'll create a very specific read-only scope, and then we will use the Azure Identity Library with the Cosmos library to pull data out of Cosmos and pass it to our API. Right, it's 8 o'clock, it's past 8, so 2 questions. Let's see who's been paying attention. Well, what kind of access is, shit, I gave it away. It's been too long. Okay, what kind of token does my client app, the front end app, what kind of token does my client, the front end app, get when it signs in a user? 42. Yes, Sean, you. So the user signs in, and the app gets a token. What kind of token does my app get for that? There are 2 types of tokens. Do you no? The bearer token is the one that you pass in the header. Is this the new one from Raffle? No. So let's let me. Okay, I'll give you a hint because I know we had. It is a JWT token, but there are 2 types of tokens. One is an access token, and the other one is a. So where do we see tokens? So we have all these things here. Identity provider. Identity provider is the one that sends you the tokens. That is correct. We're getting closer. Somebody said access token, but there are 2 different types of tokens. So, I mean, I couldn't make it more blunt than this. So again, we're gonna go with the first 10 to type, and then I'll choose a random number. Yes, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, stop, you got it, it's an ID token. So let me explain what that means. When your users sign into your app, they will get an ID token. That's the one that's that's the one that says that who the user is, right? It comes down with the claims. The JWT token, we saw that before. Do we have a JWT anywhere? No. JWT.ms. I will open a different token. It's not going to be an ID token. It's going to be an access token, but it's fine. We can talk about claims here. You guys are good. Let me just make sure I copy these things before I lose the winners, and then I can't choose the winner. So we did here. Funny commentary was, again, the first one to go with it. I mean, That says something. That says something. Right. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. Somebody went with auth code grant. That's the flow that you use to get stuff. Client, it's not that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. I need a number between 1 and 10. Somebody give me a number between 1 and 10. More trivia contest than Raffle. Yeah. 7. Okay, 7. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Prime Gimengoler Jesus. Like, I can't even pronounce that. So the 4.2. No. The first one was the 7. So whoever this is, Prime, is that even? Is it 2 words? Oh, it is 2 words. Let me see if I can get it. Prime. Yeah, that's interesting. Seems like it's not a user. Oh, is it you? Oh, Electro Jesus? Why? Okay. Yeah, Electro. Oh, interesting. Prime. Okay. Yeah, Electro Jesus, that's you, man. You got it. So 425show at Microsoft.com. Please email us to get your claim. All right. Okay. I see. Oh, that's interesting. I was like, there's a lot of Prime Gaming or Prime Game stuff. Yeah. Congrats, man. And then there's one more question. Yes, Prime logo in front. Okay. I get it. Okay. One more question, and that will be for the voucher, the $100 Azure voucher. Let me make it hard enough, but not too hard. So I will have to give you hints again. What should be? What should be? Give it to Fanny. I mean, he's trying hard, man. Fanny is trying hard. What's the email again? It's 45show it's 45show at Microsoft.com. It couldn't be harder than that. Will you send the swag to Canada? Yes, we'll send it. No. We'll send it to Canada. As long as you wear it or carry it proudly around the everywhere you go. Okay. So let's see. The game will be. Oh, not Gmail, man. Not Gmail. No, you have to send us an email so we can send it back. All right. Okay. You're in Seattle? Nice. That's awesome. Fellow Seattleite. Now the question is. Yeah, that's only fair. I'm Rambo Mohammed. What would be the question? What should be in the access token to ensure that the user has the right permissions to access our API? What should be in the access token? Permissions is close, but there's a different term. What should be? No, it's no user ID. The user ID will be in the ID token. We're talking about access tokens here. Access tokens, not session. It starts with an S. How about that? It starts with an S. OID. Let's see. I have it here. Now let's see. SSI. People are just calling random things now. Your social security number. You send me your social security number, and I will send you your Azure credits. How does that sound? No, it's not a secret. Nope. It's S something. Yes. Well, let's see what should be in. It's not a secret hash. Social media password. No. Code with someone. We need to have a proper conversation. If after all these sessions that you've attended, yes. Diabolical got it. 3D VKR got it. Take my child. It is the SCP. It's the scope. You need a scope. So your front end will ask for a scope to the backend. It will ask for a scope. So again, I'll go with a 10 and somebody will give me a number. So let me see. Do we have enough 10s? We have it's scope. And this is for the $100 voucher. Okay, so number 1 is Wolfgang Wolf. User or mem have won the $100 voucher for Azure. I mean, that's a fantastic handle. Email us at the 45show@microsoft.com. Right. It's been a blast. We did some fantastic work here, although we stumbled upon TypeScript and TypeScript tripped us. But we have our API writing. We have our basic token validation happening. And thanks everyone for attending. Thanks for rating us. Thanks for the awesome comments and the questions, and for playing along and for learning with us. And I will see you bright and early at 8 a.m. tomorrow, where we do the IT thing. Usually I don't do it. I don't do the stream myself, but I'm covering for one of our teammates. So it's all about teamwork. And otherwise, please join us on Friday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, where we do our regular developer stuff. And there will be some more work around this Node.js API, right? I had fun as well. Thank you so much. Let's see if there's anyone around to raid. Oh, you know what? There's a Hello Creation. Let's see what they're doing. They're just chatting. I'm not sure if we want to raid them. Let's see what they're chatting about. They're chatting about gauntlets. I have no idea. But yeah, we'll raid them. Why not? Right. Let's get raiding. Let's get raiding, my friends. Well, I appreciate everyone. Thanks for coming along for the ride. It was awesome. So let's go and see our friend Carlo Creation. Take care, everyone.